Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Construction Studies Foundation Detail series. In this video we will be looking at the Raft Foundation, another important type of foundation that you'll need to know for your Leaving Certificate Construction Studies exams. Just like before, I'll walk you through the Raft Foundation, what it is, when it's used, and then I'll show you how to draw it step by step using the animated PowerPoint. This method helps us see exactly how the foundation is drawn, and it makes the drawing process much easier to understand. Our learning intention for this video is to describe and draw a raft foundation using the 10:1 scale, showing all of the main components clearly and accurately to scale. At the end, you should also be able to identify the key parts of a raft foundation, explain when and why it is used, and produce a neat, accurate 10:1 scale drawing of the detail. A raft foundation is used when the ground is too weak or uneven to support a strip foundation. Instead of having separate strips under each wall, a raft foundation spreads its load of the entire building over a large, solid concrete slab, almost like a big raft floating on the ground. One main advantage of a raft foundation is that it distributes the building's weight evenly, which helps prevent settlement or cracking in weaker soils. However, a disadvantage is that it is more expensive and time-consuming to build compared to a simple strip foundation because it uses more concrete and reinforcement. So when would you use a raft foundation? They're typically used when the soil is too soft or variable and where loads are spread out across the structure, such as in bungalows, industrial buildings or basements. So just before we begin the animated presentation, just bear in mind that when you're drawing this from a scale of 1:10, so you divide all of the dimensions by 10. So say for instance, what I'm going to do is, with the raft foundation, I start off with the 350 cavity construction. We know that the 350 cavity construction consists of a 100mm external leaf, 50 cavity, 100 insulation and 100 internal leaf. You're going to divide all that by 10, so that'll be 10, 5, 10, 10. So with these blocks here, these are going to be 200mm, and the next step I always do is we draw one more block just down here because this is going to sit on top of the raft foundation. The next thing you're going to draw is the raft foundation, and the raft foundation is placed underneath the 350 cavity construction. You can see that the foundation is made of concrete and it is reinforced with steel. Underneath the concrete foundation, what we're going to do is pop in our 40mm of sand blinding, and we can see that it's sand blinding because it's got the dots, and you can dot those on the exam paper or in your sketchbook using the tip of your pencil. Next, we're going to fill in our hardcore, and these sections here are 150mm each, totaling 450mm. Over to this section here, we just came out about 400mm and then brought it down 60 degrees here. Next, we're going to complete the external side of the building. This is just the ground here. This distance from here to here is 600mm, and then we just brought it across. And similarly to the last video, these lines here just signify that it is outdoors. Next, we're going to head on to the inside of the dwelling, and we're going to put in our 30mm of insulation, followed by our 100mm of insulation just here. And then on top of that, we're going to put in our 65 concrete screed. On top of our concrete screed and our 30mm of insulation is going to be our 25 flooring. Once the flooring is done, we're going to put in our 12 render on the internal wall and our 18 render on the external wall. The next thing, we're going to put in our damp-proof membrane or our radon barrier. And we discussed it from the last video that the purpose of the radon barrier is to prevent any radon gases that generate within the from penetrating up into the dwelling. We also have our damp-proof course here, our DPC, which prevents capillary action. And we also have our wall ties here connecting and reinforcing the external leaf and the internal leaf. Next, you're just going to label all of the features of the raft foundation. Once that's done, that completes the raft foundation. So So this is how the Raft foundation might appear once you finish drawing it. I have the Raft foundation just in the center of the page, and I have all of my annotations pointing to where they need to be. And then on the right hand side here, I've just got my new keywords that were different from the strip foundation in the previous video. Let's have a quick recap just before we finish. Our learning intention was to describe and draw a Raft foundation using the 1:10 scale. And our success criteria was to identify the parts, explain when and why it's used, and draw it accurately using the 1:10 scale, outlining an advantage and a disadvantage. We also learned that a Raft foundation spreads the building's load evenly across weak ground, but it's more expensive and labour intensive to construct. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.